This is your sign to try to make that delicious lasagna soup that's been viral and trending on all of social media. This is not my recipe, but I did do some changes to it, so I'm going to go ahead and post my tutorial for it. So the first thing I did was make my own herb blend because I didn't have any Italian seasoning anymore. I added some ground sage, a little bit of fennel because I don't have any sausage. I'm also using some dried thyme, rosemary, and oregano. I'm going to just stir that together and set it to the side. I'm then going to start by I can't talk. I'm going to start by browning my ground beef. I'm only using ground beef because that's what I have, and I'm not buying nothing else. Okay, gave that a nice brown, made a little well in the middle, added the herbs, and then I'm also going to add some olive oil, some chopped onions, and some chopped garlic. I use 1 pound of ground beef, and that's half of a large onion and 3 cloves of garlic. Went ahead and gave that a nice stir, allow everything to soften up, made another well, and then added some tomato paste. Once I add the tomato paste, I like to allow my tomato paste to cook down to get rid of the raw flavor. It just doesn't taste very good. And then I'm going to add some Haitian ippies and some dehydrated chicken broth. Now, if you have liquid chicken broth, you're going to use about 4.5 cups of the chicken broth. But if you don't have any and you have like a Maggi powder or a Norris powder or even a better than bouillon, go ahead and use that. Okay, basically, it's all the same, just in different forms. All right, so once I went ahead and added the water, I used about 4.5 cups of water. I allowed it to come up to a boil and then to simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes. For the tomato sauce, I'm using Rouse tomato. You don't have to. I've just been using that brand for a very long time, so I always have like a jar in my cabinets. But you can use whatever you have. You can even use like a can of tomato sauce. You would probably have to use like a 16 ounce, more or less, just so that you can have enough tomato flavor in your soup because it is lasagna soup. So once I've added my tomato sauce, I did rinse out the I rinsed out the jar with a little bit of water and added that into the soup. I don't know who else does that. I can't be the only one, but I did. And then I added some red chili flakes. I seasoned with a little bit of black pepper, and I added very little salt because I'm going to add cheese, and the chicken bouillon does have, tends to be a little salty, so you have to really be careful. I then add my chopped spinach. I haven't seen a lot of recipes with chopped spinach, but I add chopped spinach in mine. I added my broken lasagna. I got very creative with breaking up the lasagna. I was bored, obviously. Allow that to cook for a little bit. And once the lasagna was like almost there, I added my fresh ricotta cheese. You guys know that I make my own ricotta cheese because I use the whey to make the bread because I'm Susie homemaker. Or really Christelle homemaker. Why not? So once I added in the ricotta, I added some parsley. I gave it a nice stir, and then I'm going to shred some Parmesan cheese. I use Parmesan cheese, like fresh Parmesan cheese, as opposed to grated, just because I see that there's a huge difference in the flavor of your Parmesan. And really, you're eating Parmesan when you grate it yourself. Wink, wink, cough, cough. I did have like a little bit of the Parmesan wedge left over. I just threw it in the soup because it doesn't hurt. It just adds to the flavor. And I allowed my soup to simmer on the stove for an additional 20 minutes. It really doesn't take a lot of time to come together. Uh, it doesn't take very much effort either if you do your mise en place. I, again, did not want to go out to buy anything to make the soup. I wanted to use whatever I had. So I had a lot more steps than normal, but this soup comes together like with no time or really no effort. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your feedback, whether or not you liked it. I hope you're able to give this a try. As always, I really appreciate everyone. If you've not followed me yet, this is your chance to go ahead and give me a follow. Anyways, bye.